Okay, fantastic. This week for my guided reading, you're going to be working on poetry. So, how to read and understand a poem. Poems are short, usually rhyme, and sometimes sound like a song when you read it out loud. Poems are made up of lines and stanzas. I like to think of a stanza like a paragraph in a passage or a book. Stanzas are made up of lines. So instead of calling this a paragraph because there's a break between it, we call it a stanza. So, some strategies to read a poem. I like to reread the poem a few times because they're shorter. It's not such a big deal to read it a couple times. It just helps me understand because poems have a lot of hidden meanings and messages in them. Poems are short, but they're packed with tricky language, figurative language. We're going to be going over a lot of different things. We were doing alliteration last week, which means the same sounds repeated over and over. Next week, we're going to move into similes, so comparing things using like or as. You're going to see that a lot in poetry. They have very interesting sentence structure, which we go over sentence structure in writing. So you need to read it slowly and find a flow. Visualizing, we like to create a little movie in our brain. Read the title and decide if it gives you any more meaning of what you read in the poem. Just like we do in class, after each stanza or every few lines, ask yourself, wait, what did I read? If you don't understand after each stanza, you need to go back and reread it. I would hate for you to read the entire poem and then have absolutely no idea what you read. And just like we do in class, jot some small notes down on the sides of things that are important. So after your paragraph, if you find something that's incredibly important, you should write it down. The writer of a poem is called a poet. The person in the poem is usually referred to as the speaker, and the reader is the person who is reading the poem. That's you. So today you're going to read Lost and Found. It ends here, and you're going to answer a couple of multiple choice questions. So here is the question, and then in the text box, you're going to type A, B, C, or D for each one. So I'll read you the questions. It says, read these lines from the poem. You were so soft and fluffy, tiny as can be. With your cuddles and purrs, it was clear to see. So they're asking you, what are these lines describing? A mouse, a heart, a kitten, or a puppy? In lines 11 and 12, the speaker is feeling. So I need to go back and find 11 and 12. I'm going to read this and figure out how the speaker is feeling. Lines 13 and 14 show you what? Go back, read 13 and 14, and figure out what it shows you. Which question is answered in line 15? Again, you're going to go back. You were so, you were soft and fluffy, tiny as can be. And you're going to proceed that way. Anything that you need to know. Which question is answered in line 15? The reader is able to understand the kind of animal in the poem because of the word. You should very well be able to answer these questions. After looking at the title, the reader knows this poem is about. What was the animal first doing when the speaker found her? So just by reading the questions, you already know that this is about a lost animal that somebody found. So lost and found. You should know we have a lost and found in school. It's when you find something and you don't know who it is, you place it in the box. Okay, so today you're just going to read and answer these multiple choice questions. Thank you. If you have any questions, please message me.